And we're back! Greetings and welcome to the 19th edition of Big Bad Bat Reps. This is Nick, aka Big Bad Bat. We are doing a game here for Mittierim's Around the World in 12 Games. Sounds a little bit weird, but you know, we're keeping the tradition going on as Malorian would have it. I'm putting together 2,200 points of Chaos Legion, and I am battling War General T's Bretonnian forces. Bretonnian is the flavor of the month this month. We met down at the club, and we're going to hash it out here. We got a meeting engagement scenario, and should be a lot of fun. Let's check out the lists. So this is my first crack at trying out the Chaos Legion list from the Glotkin book. Picked that up a couple weeks ago. My general is going to be Festus the Leech Lord. I'm running a Doom Bowl, the Armor of Destiny, Gnarled Hide, and a Shield, Mark of Tzeentch, Sword of Swift Slaying. I got the Exalted BSB of Tzeentch, the Bard of Demonic Mount, Shield Halberd, Tally Prez, and Third Eye of Tzeentch. Then I'm running two level 2 Bray Shamans with Shadow, one with Shard of the Herdstone, one with Hag Tree Fetish. That lets me pick a unit within 24 inches and reroll the wounds in the magic phase. 4 units of Pink Horrors, 3 of those have standards, a Tuskgore Chariot with Mark of Nurgle, 1 Razor Gore, and 27 Bestigore with full command and the Standard of Discipline. That's where Festus is going to go. He's going to give them poison attacks and 5-up regen. So I like to call that unit Festigore. War General T's Bretonnian forces are led by a Bretonnian Lord. Of course, all these characters are going to be on war horses, you know, barded war horses. He's got the Bretonnian Lord with the Sword of Swift Slaying and the Virtue of Heroism. That's going to give him a heroic killing blow. I'm sure he had some other stuff, but it never really came up. He's got a level 4 Prophetess using Heavens. She's got a Dispel Scroll, a Paladin with Grominal Greathelm, and some other stuff, some virtue of some type. Another Paladin, again, it never really came into play. A Paladin BSB, again, with more stuff. Not really quite sure of the loadout. For a core, he's got 11 Knights of the Realm with full command, 11 more Knights of the Realm full command. He's also got 3 Pegasus Knights, 7 Grail Knights with full command, and 2 Trebuchets. So he's got 3 pretty hard lances here, some Trebuchets to launch some stuff from afar, and 3 Peg Knights to move, harass, and fly. So it should be a good battle. Let's check it out. For deployment, this was meeting engagement, so I believe his whole army got to come on. He had to deploy first. This is kind of on the left side of my left side of the table here. He's got those 3 Peg Knights, Trebuchet, and there you can see there's a lot of gray plastic in this battle. I apologize for that in advance. But he's got 7 Grail Knights. His Prophetess is smack dab in the middle of that unit. Or maybe it's 6 Grail Knights, because I know there's 9 there. But he's got his Prophetess, a Paladin, and his Bretonnian Lord in there. So I guess there's 6 Grail Knights. And the photo before was he had the 2 lances. We'll see photos of it more. They're pretty centrally located. 2 Knights of the Realm lances with one who's got his BSB in there, and the Trebuchet is behind them. Now this is my deployment. It's kind of I'm going to end up getting first turn here because he had to deploy first. It's meeting engagement. I didn't roll a 6, but he has the decision of who goes first, so he's obviously going to pray to get that Precious Ward save, and I'm going to get to go first. My Doom Bowl, which is right behind those trees there all by himself, unpainted, and one of my Bray Shamans were held in reserve. So this is them coming on. The Doom Bowl moved on 6 inches there, but you can see my chariot over here on the left side of the photo there by that house, and my unit of 27 Bestigore with Festus in them. Again, I like to call them guys Festigore. And here's my castled up little kind of Herdstone dance party, I like to call it. You can't really see all of what's going on here, but I got 4 units of Pink Horrors there. I had a 2,000 point list prepared, and War General T had 2,200 ready to go. It was kind of a mix-up on communication there. We were both going to do this game for Around the World in 12 games, so I just quick upped my list to 2,200. It was pretty easy. I threw in another unit of Pink Horrors and made both my Shamans level 2, so it worked out pretty good math-wise. There's the 4 units of pink horrors. The rock thing coming right up next to those woods is my Herdstone. You can see one of my Bray Shamans behind that. He was held in reserve, and the other one is kind of hiding right behind it. Smack dab in the middle there of all that business is my Tzeentch BSB. And remember, this was meeting engagement scenario. That's the diagonal line across the table and 6 inches out. I deployed my Razor Gore down here to hopefully go get that trebuchet or do something nasty down there. Again, he vanguards. I think he vanguarded his. He's got the only vanguard thing. He moves those peg knights a little bit from his original deployment to try to block that trebuchet and maybe deter me from charging. So I don't roll a 6 to go first. He gives me the first turn so we can pray. And Chaos Legion turn 1. And this Razor Gore is going to charge right into those peg knights because why not? But before we get on to the rest of the stuff, instead of rearranging my cells, let's take a look at spells. I just rhymed. So Festus is a level 2 and uses Lore of Nurgle. He's got Stream of Corruption and Rancid Visitations. These are both pretty darn good against Bretonnia. If I can get up close, lay down that Teardrop on some lances, that can do some damage. And Rancid Visitations is also pretty decent here. My level 2 Bray knows Enfeebling Foe and Malkoth Mystifying Miasma. Again, very nice. My other one rolls up and gets Malkoth Mystifying Miasma and the Withering. So again, now with Festus's stuff and all the magic and the Tzeentch spells, which I'll get to in a second here, Withering is really going to be nice because that reduces the toughness and there's some really good synergy there. That's kind of what I was hoping for. So we'll see if that stuff works out. This unit here, not a very good table. Can't see very good where they are, but they get Pink Fire of Tzeentch. This other unit of horrors gets Blue Fire of Tzeentch. This was my stand-in unit of horrors that I had to throw in. I just used some extra gore models I was going to use to proxy any extra horrors I made via the lore attribute. So they get Treason of Tzeentch, which is really cool because those Bretonnian horses are only leadership 5, so that's going to be neat. And there you can see my other Bray Shaman hiding behind that Herdstone. He's the one that has the miasma and the minus D3 strength debuff. And this other unit of horrors here that I have a little ahead of the Herdstone knows Infernal Gateway. So that could, I mean, that's a really fickle spell, but still it's a darn good one to have. So we'll see if they can do some damage on some of these lances. So, not too much other movement aside. Remember, I charged that Razor Gore into the Peg Knights there at the bottom of the screen. My Pink Horror unit that knows Infernal Gateway, those guys are kind of the Dryad-looking guys with the unit filler there in the woods. They move up to get within 24 inches of that Grail Knight Lance. They're going to try to Infernal Gateway them. The Doom Bull comes on. The other Bray Shaman comes on there. You can barely see him in the right corner there. My Chariot just kind of redeploys a little bit, and my BSB takes on a more central position, so my 2 heavy hitters are pretty much dead center of the battlefield and are ready to react to any Lance shenanigans. Winds of Magic. Now I have all these things around the Herdstone, so I'm getting 1 die for each unit, or wizard within 6 inches rather. So I'm kind of hoping for smallish magic phases and allowing that Herdstone to trump it up. But first magic phase here, Winds of Magic, is 10 to 5. That's going to be Chaotic Surge. I am going to get a +1 ward on all my demonic units. And, excuse me, with all the Herdstone stuff, I'm up to 12 magic dice, and he does not channel any. So I throw a 3 die at Treason of Tzeentch on these Peg Knights, and I forget they're Pegasus, and they have a higher leadership anyway, so they're leadership 7. So he doesn't care, and he lets that go. Then I throw 1 die Miasma from one of my Bray Shamans. It goes off. I'm just targeting his weapon skill, and he rolls a 1 to dispel it, and they're going to be -3 weapon skill. So with him rolling that 1 die to try to dispel, you know, he had a bunch of dice. He knew I had more dice too, but he rolled the 1, so he can't use his level 4 anymore. So I throw 6 dice at Infernal Gateway at that Grail Knight Lance. I know the Prophetess is in there. She's got magic resistance too, and they got the Blessing. but I need to keep those guys away from my little Herdstone dance party here. So I'm just going to try to blast them with magic and hope they fail enough 3-up wards to whittle them down and get them combat effectiveness. That goes off. I get 7 strength 6 hits. I do 5 wounds, but he makes 2 armor saves and 3 wards. I also cast a 2-die Rancid Visitation on the lance, to the farthest right lance, and do a couple wounds, but nothing too serious there. On to combat. So the Razor Gore is strength 6 on the charge. He hits all 4 times. Remember, these guys are weapon skill 1 just from the miasma. He hits all 4 times, hitting on 3s, does wounds 3 times, and he doesn't make any armor saves or any wards. So he loses a whole Peg Knight and takes a wound on another. Now he makes kind of a mistake here, and he removes the 1 on the, which would be the left side there. That kind of changes his direction of flight should he fail here, and that is going to prove to be a fatal error because he is weapon skill 1, doesn't get any wounds through to me. Again, he's Treason of Zinchted. He's on leadership 7. I charged and did 3 wounds. He's testing on like a 3, and he's going to break. And because if he would have removed the model on the right, he would have fled kind of further toward the trebuchet. But now his center of the unit's a little bit skewed, and he runs directly off the table. I magically do not, or I don't pursue, and I reform to look at that trebuchet because that's a juicy target. And here's a little picture post turn 1 action. You can see my big unit of Bestigor there with Festus kind of in the middle, my 2 big baddies there, and my Herdstone dance party. The Infernal Gateway unit in the woods up by that house has moved up. They're away from the Herdstone, but I still have like 5 units within that, so I'm getting 5 dice, and they just want to be in a 24-inch area to be able to blast that Infernal Gateway out. His lance on the right there did take 2 wounds from the Rancid Visitation that happened prior. So Bretonnia turn 1, he does not declare any charges, but he does, he gets a little distracted by that Razor Gore and decides to pay attention to him. So he is going to reform his Grail Knights, or do a Swift reform, and face them, and everything else just stays put. He doesn't nudge either of those other knights. The Peg Knights are dead, and he's just going to hang tight here and hopefully take care of that Razor Gore. Magic phase is 9 to 5. I have like 7 total channels, 4 of which are Tzeentch channels, so I get to reroll 1s. I get 2 from that, so it's 9 to 7. He gets Harmonic Convergence up on his Grail Knights there. I don't really care about that much. He throws a bunch of Chain Lightning at the Razor Gore, which does 1 wound to it. Then he casts Urnan's Thunderbolt at the Razor Gore. And rolls 666s here. That's going to go off irresistibly and be a miscast. That is... I'm sorry, I didn't even go over his spells, but he has Ice Shard Blizzard, Urnan's Thunderbolt, Chain Lightning, and Harmonic Convergence for his level 4. This is going to do D6, Strength 6 to the Razor Gore. That's going to finish him off. He took 1 wound from the Chain Lightning and like 2 or 3 from... He's only got 3 wounds, but the Thunderbolt finishes him off. The miscast is a miscast 7. That's like one of the worst ones that can happen for Bretonnia because that lady's right in the smack dab middle of the unit. Everyone takes a Strength 10 hit in base contact. The Paladin's going to take a wound, and 2 Grail Knights die from that, so that's a good deal. Shooting phase, his first trebuchet aims at my Infernal Gateway horrors there, my woodsy demonic horror thingy in the woods there, Beastman flavor. That's going to be a misfire. He rolls a 4, so no big deal. He can shoot normally next turn. He tries to take a pot shot at Festus with the other trebuchet. It's a bullseye, lands right on him. I make my lookout, sir, and it's not a good look here, but he just ends up, I think, killing 2 guys out of there. Remember, I got a 5-up regen in there, so I lose just a total of 2 guys. So, Chaos Legion turn 2. You can see that big red die in the middle of the thing there. That's going to help us keep track of turns. I just kind of move my 1 unit of horrors up a little bit there. They are still within 6 inches of the Herdstone, and my BSB and Doombull Zinch there, the little reddish brown guy, they just kind of move up to the center of the table. My Chariot and Bestigor are kind of holding off those two lances. They're needing like 12s to charge, so they're kind of in a, or no, 8. He needs a long distance to charge there, so they're not good. I'm just kind of shoring up my stuff. I have plenty of magic. I'm not too afraid of those trebuchets at this point, so magic phase, I roll double sixes. That's 12 to 6. Again, I don't get any extra dice, but I do get a free unit. And a unit of 2d6 plus 3 bloodletters is going to magically appear behind those lances. I was a little foolish with my placement here. I should have placed them a little further back, but I wanted to make it so I could, rear charge either of those lances or get a charge on the trebuchet, depending what he did next turn. But looking at this picture now and in the game, I realized immediately that I wasn't going to be able to wheel and get into that trebuchet, so my bad there. So I got a ton of dice. He's got 6 dispel dice. I throw a couple dice at Treason of Zinch on this, the right, which would be my right, this unit of Knights of the Realm. That fine cast model there is his BSB. He doesn't have the banner attached, but that's his BSB there. That's going to go off. Then I do a 2-die Blue Fire of Zinch. I don't even remember what I'm targeting there. It does 2. Oh, it's on the Grail Knights. I do 2 Strength 2 and nothing happens. I do get a Wither off again on these guys, reducing their toughness by 3. He fails to dispel that. He's just kind of being a little bit cautious with his dispel dice, and he errs on the side of less dice, and it ends up costing him, because then I get to I actually throw my last couple dice at Rancid Visitations. He's only got 2 dice or 3, then he's using his army dispel, but he rolls really high and gets it off. That could have been trouble. So here's a look of the table after Chaos Legion turn 2. Again, not much has really changed. He really lucked out rolling high on those that dispel, where I got Rancid Visitations off on that unit there that had the Withering, because that would have been brutal. That's D6 Strength 5 hits, but he has to take a toughness test every time, and until he passes one, it keeps going. So again, that's kind of the synergy with this list, but he escaped a hard one there, and it's going to be his turn with nothing in combat. He declares no charges, and not really sure what he was doing here. He attempts a swift reform with that lance on the left, the photo left, and he fails, even with the BSB right there, so he's just going to reform like that. I don't know what he was going to do after that, but that's where he sits. The Grail Knights are trying to zoom around and trying to get out of my stuff with Infernal Gateway there. He's got the 3-up ward against it, but still, I mean, he's taken a couple wounds from miscasts, and there's a lot of magic there. He's trying to get around my flank and try to wreck my dance party. Bretonnian Winds of Magic, he rolls a 2 and 1. That's 3. For magic, I again have all of those channels. I got 4 Zinch channels, re-rolling ones again, and 3 other channels. I got a total of 7 channels. I end up channeling 4 dice this turn, so I actually have more dispel dice than he has power dice, 5 to 3. And he throws 3 at Harmonic Convergence, and I throw my 5 and dispel it. His Far Trebuchet, not the one in the frame here, but the one that you can't see, tries to get rid of those bloodletters. Scatters a little bit there. It's going to hit one of his knights and not hurt it. And the trebuchet that was right by those bloodletters tries to put draw a bead on my demonic BSB here, Mark Zinch. That is going to be a misfire, but again, he rolls a 4 or a 5, and all is good, so he can shoot that normally next turn. So, I mean, all in all, that's a pretty ineffective turn 2 for Bretonnia. He had a really crappy magic phase. He's just got the 2 trebs for shooting. Everything didn't have any good charges, so I'm holding him at bay here, which is perfect plan. Chaos Legion turn 3 coming up. Not being able to wheel to get into that trebuchet, which would have been obviously a lot easier pickings. I charge the rear of this lance, and hopefully I can do enough wounds there. I know they got Killing Blow. They're not that great, but I brought bloodletters on because of the Killing Blow, and hopefully they can get into these lances anyways and do some stuff. So, rest of movement, there's not much movement over by my Herdstone dance party, as they just want to hang out there and give me some power dice. but my unit of Festigor moves right up into the grill there. They march forward max distance. They're going to get up in there. He failed that swift reform last time, so the lance on the left there is showing me horse butt, and the other one's in combat. So I'm hoping to get off a stream of corruption or something and drop a flame template on one of those lances and hopefully do some big time damage. My BSB moves up to threaten that Treb, and my Doombull there, dead center of the picture, just kind of moves up to take a just reactionary position where he can lend help wherever he needs to. Winds of Magic, I've been hoping for those low ones. I roll a 2 and a 1. That is punished by the gods. So that's going to be I have to randomly select a character. They take a leadership test, and I take that many wounds by what they lose by. I got 4 or 5 characters here. It ends up being the one little brown Bray Shaman to the right of the Herdstone there, not the one hiding directly behind it. He rolls an 8, and he's going to take a wound for his trouble. But after all Herdstone shenanigans and channels, that 3-2 magic phase turns into a 9-2. I get Treason of Tzeentch on that unit of uh, the uh, the Knights of the Realm that are in combat with the Bloodletters. He lets that go. I get a 1-die miasma off again. That's kind of a strategy. I'm just going to throw that at weapon skill with things in combat. And again, he just rolls 1 die to try to dispel it, and he rolls a 1, so that's going to shut him down. And that opens up the door for me to throw a bunch of dice at Infernal Gateway at that unit of Grail Knights again. They got the 3-up ward, but I got to get rid of those guys, and Gateway is my best chance to do it. You can see I roll a ton of dice there. It's not irresistible, but he is pretty much out of dice. I'm not exactly sure what they do there for damage. I think they do a couple wounds, maybe 2. I believe it was 2 or 3 wounds, because in this photo, via the lore attribute, you can see I roll a 4 and a 5 there, and I add 2 pink horrors to that unit. So doing good. He opts to not make way with his BSB because he knows I got Killing Blow on those Bloodletters there. I do 2 wounds there. I don't think he does much back. His weapon skill is lowered by 1. They are Treason of Tzeentch, and I believe he even fails his fear test here. So he's weapon skill 1, hitting me not. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. So he doesn't really get to do much back to me because he's fighting in the back, so he doesn't get all those extra attacks. They break from combat. They are going to break, and this kind of messes up my deal here. I was kind of hoping they'd stick, but I guess why did I do Treason of Tzeentch anyways? But they break from combat. They're going to run through my Festigor there. The unit is not where it is. The back horse, he wants to keep his movement tray rocking there, so he leaves that back. That one horse right behind the Festigor is where his unit actually is. But they break from combat and are there. This little photo here is just to show they're fleeing now. They are still Treason, which is going to be up in his next turn, so he's going to be testing on a rerollable 5 to rally, but he's kind of close to the board edge there. But anyways, he broke from combat. And the other unit of Knights of the Realm that were right next to him, being within 6 inches of a unit that breaks from combat, decide to fail their panic test. And they flee, and they are, I am not lying, a millimeter away from running off the board. Had he rolled, 1 higher, he would have been off. The Treb miraculously passes his panic test, so he's okay. But you can really see here just that magic phase. I rolled kind of low. My Herdstone made up for it and all those channels, so I really got to get off pretty much everything I wanted. And now the Bretonnian forces are they're scattered. I mean, there's a lance over there. The Grail Knights are behind the house. He's got 1 lance fleeing way down there, another lance on the other end of the table fleeing, and 2 trebuchets, 1 in imminent danger there with the demonic BSB, so he's going to have to come up with a miracle here. So Bretonnian 3, he doesn't declare any charges. He's got 2 things fleeing, and the Grail Knights don't have anything to charge. He rallies up that big lance there on Snake Eyes. He didn't need it, but it's still, Snake Eyes is always good. And this other fleeing unit of Knights of the Realm, remember, they are Treason of Tzeentch, and they're testing on a 5 re-rollable, but he can't get that done, so they flee again. And again, just boy, within an inch of going off the table there. Pretty scary stuff, but he's there for 1 more turn. Unfortunately for me, I don't have anything facing that direction that I can chase him off the table with. So without a lot of movement options, the two trebuchets obviously can't move. He takes this what's remaining of the Grail Knight unit there with his Paladin and Bretonnian Lord and Prophetess around the house here, and they're going to try to start sweeping up my flank here. Winds of Magic for Bretonnia is 5 to 3. I have 7 channels, 4 of which are Zinch, and don't get any this turn, so he actually gets a little bit of a magic phase here. He throws 3 dice at Chain Lightning at that Infernal Gateway unit there. That's the pink horrors that know Infernal Gateway. I'd let that go because I'm just nothing's within 6 inches of them, so it's not going to do too much damage. He ends up doing, I think, 4 or 5 wounds. I think maybe ward save 1, but you can see 4 die there. Then, but he throws 2 dice at a Thunderbolt or something, and I throw my last 3 and dispel it. So that's the end of the magic phase. Did a little bit of damage there. Trebuchet again, the one that's I'm within 12 inches of this one, so he can't shoot at my guy there, but the other one shoots at him. It's an itty bitty little scatter there. It's still gonna hit him with the strength 5. I make my armor save or ward or whatever. He's all good. The second Treb goes for the Bestigor again, or Festigor rather, and that scatters off into the woods, no harm. So with nothing in combat, we go to Chaos Legion's turn 4. And Demonic Mount BSB Zinchi guy charges into this Trebuchet. Kind of a weird scale thing here. My guy is quite a bit larger than that Trebuchet. I thought that was a funny pick and a good pick of my model that I converted. Pretty cool, I think. Again, rule stuff here. War machines don't have flanks or fronts. You just have to make contact with one. I come into contact with them like this, so hopefully if I destroy them, I get to overrun toward more of that action instead of having to reform. So advantageous for me. And not too much other movement here. You can see my my Bestigor, they just kind of do a little reform thingy. I was kind of indecisive with them. Now I got the 2 lances on either side of them. The one's still fleeing, but I just kind of go like that, really for no reason at all. Kind of a poor decision. I feel like I could have done something better with them, but whatever. My other chariot gets in an area, or my one chariot gets in a thing to intercept them should they rally, so they can hopefully get a charge and break them, whatever. Winds of Magic is 9 to 6. You know, I'm hoping for those smaller phases, hoping the Herdstone catches me up, but he's still got 6 dispel dice. I channel up to 12. That's Khorne's Wrath. It doesn't hit anything, so a little bit ahead of myself photo-wise, but I throw 3 dice at Treason of Zinch on those fleeing knights, trying to keep them fleeing. He just chucks all of his dice to dispel it. He doesn't want, he's not taking chances. I think that's what happens, yeah. He doesn't want them fleeing, so they're kind of his last hope. I throw 6 dice at Infernal Gateway on those Grail Knights there, and I'm going to cast that irresistibly. I'm going to do 11 Strength 8 hits. So, bam, that finally pays off. I do 8 wounds. They all wound. I'm going to take out 3 Grail Knights, put a wound on his Lord, and take that final wound on the Paladin, and put 2 on the Lady. So that's a pretty good deal there. You can see he's just got his Lord and the Prophetess there on the empty horse. He likes to use wounds remaining for his dice. So he's got 1 wound left on the Lady and 2 on that Lord. Couple dice left. I throw 3 at Blue Fire Zinch, trying to take out that unit. You know, he did really poorly with his ward saves on that turn, but I roll 3 3 6s here, triples, and that's going to be another IF. The IF before, I took a bunch of wounds on my pink horrors, but I did so many wounds that I think I end up getting 1 more back than I started with. So I mean, that's the coolest thing about the pink horrors is the Infernal Gateway one. If you can do a bunch of wounds, you can IF it without much risk, because if you do a bunch of wounds, you get them back on a 4, 5, or 6. So it's pretty much kind of Banner of the World Dragony, if you will. No big deal there. But Blue Fire Zinch doesn't get anything done here. Again, I lose a couple guys. Yep, there I lose 4 pink horrors from that unit. You can still see my Herdstone dance party going on. Bit of a blurry photo here, I apologize, but it's the only one I got of this action. The demonic BSB guy completely takes care of that trebuchet and overruns like that to get in a pretty good position to threaten that other treb or threaten that big unit there. So that's a good spot for them. Bretonnian turn 4, he charges into these bloodletters. He does not take the bait, and well, he had a pretty big unit of Grail Knights there before, but he does not take the bait on charging those pink horrors. I was going to sacrifice them with a counter charge ready with my Doom Bull there. He moves them safely out of the charge arc of the Doom Bull. And not being Treason of Zinch it anymore, you can see that these guys get the bottom guys there, they rally. Winds of Magic is 4-2. I channel 2, so it's 4-4. He's going to throw a couple dice at, I think, Chain Lightning here and try to get some Herdstone action going on. He throws it right at that unit of pink horrors on the other side of the woods there, next to that lone Bray Shaman that's taken a wound. And the bad dice just kind of continue here. That's his 4 dice. He rolls, just miserably here. 5 and 3 ones plus his 4 is 12. Not enough to get it off. Had that gone off, I would have been able to throw 4 dice at it. I don't have a Dispel Scroll, but still, I could have done a lot of damage, and didn't work for him. The last remaining Treb hits this guy. Again, it's one of those little mini scatters. It scatters like 2 inches. It's going to hit him with the strength 5, and I fail my armor. I roll a 1 for my ward. I reroll my 1 and get a 2. So he sneaks a wound through on that guy. And in combat, that lance makes extreme short work of the bloodletters. Remember, in Chaos Legions now, demonic units are just unstable. They do not have the demonic instability rule, so they crumble just like zombies or any type of undead. So they just get shattered. Instead of overrunning, he just decides to reform there. You can see those 2 lances are now kind of staring down my Festigor. Chaos Legion turn 5. I'm not going to let him get the double charge on my guys, so I charge my chariot into these guys here, hoping I can, do some damage or hold them up. That's Mark and Nurgle, so maybe something good can happen there. Other movement, there's not too much movement around the Herdstone dance party there. My Doom Bull does get pretty brave, and he just goes right smack dab in front of that unit, just saying, come on, bring it, dude. He was out of my charge arc, remember, but I can still get him right there. I'm fairly sure that Bretonnian Lord has Heroic Killing Blow. I've never played a game against Bretonnian where that one of the Lords didn't have that. But I got that 3-up ward, and he's got a wound on him. We'll just kind of see how that goes. My Demonic Mount BSB guy circles around the woods and is going to get into an assist-type position there. My Festigor Swift Reform and get right in the grill of that other lance. I'm hoping to get off a Stream of Corruption on them in the following magic phase. Winds of Magic is 7-5. That is going to be... I don't even remember what it is on the Chaos table. It's the one where, depending what mark your general is, you apply something else. My general is Festus, so that's going to be Rot, Glorious Rot. That hits, unengaged units on a 6. I actually hit that Bretonnian Lord and Prophetess unit. They're going to take D6 plus 2 strength 3 hits with no armor saves. I roll up a 6, so they're each taking 4. The Lady bites the dust, and the Bretonnian Lord doesn't take any wounds at all. But yeah, tough stuff for that. The Lady's gone, so now I have magic dominance. So the Lady's gone. He's got 5 Dispel dice just with his army Dispel. I put Withering on this big lance here because, like I said, I'm eyeing up a Stream of Corruption. I should be able to hit, a good 6, 7, 8 of those guys there with that template. They are going to be reduced their strength or toughness rather by 2. So they're now toughness 1. So I can do Rancid Visitations or Stream of Corruption and hopefully really do some stuff on these guys. I do get a 1-die miasma off on the Chariot Combat, as well as Treason of Zinch. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but they're now again going to be Leadership 5, and their weapon skill is 1 against a Mark and Ergel Chariot. That's probably not that good. I got a couple dies left. I get a little greedy here, and I want to get Stream of Corruption off and Blue Fire. I roll 2 dice for Stream of Corruption, needing only a 5 to get it off, and I roll a 1 and a 2. So Festus now is shut down. That's unfortunate. Got a little greedy there. Then I use my last 2 on Blue Fire Zinch and try to get that Bretonnian Lord, but no dice there. We go to combat, and I got Strength 5 impact hits. I kill 1 or maybe 2. I pass my Primal Fury out of the range of everything, but I think that the Tuskors do 1 wound, and my Great Weapon guy kills a guy 2. I do a total of 3 there. He's still steadfast. 3 counts as a rank for Bretonnia, and he makes his steadfast 5 check there. Lucky him. That was pretty fortunate. So bottom of 5 here, Bretonnia. He charges that lance into the Festigor. He's got to do something here. Um, Not a good spot for him, I guess, but that demonic mount guy is ready to come in there and lend a hand. But that's that charge. And the Bretonnian Lord here answers the Doombull's challenge there. I modeled my Doombull pretty small. He's kind of cute. His little skull thing off his stick of Swift Slaying there fell off, but that should be a good battle. We'll see how that pans out. There's really not much else movement. His 1 Trebuchet, in an effort to get some points, plops down on one of my Bray Shamans. That's a direct hit, and he's going to kill that guy and pick up a couple points. And we go to combat here. The Bretonnian Lord has 4 attacks. I have 5 attacks. We're both weapon skill 6, and we're all both always strike first. So this is going to be simultaneous with no rerolls. He gets 2 hits there, and I get hit with all of mine. You can see my dice on the bottom. I do 4 wounds to him, and he sneaks a 6 through with that heroic killing blow, and that die right next to my Doombull is his ward save. Remember, he had a 3-up ward save. I rolled a 2, and down goes the Doombull. This was simultaneous. Of the 4 wounds I got through, one sneaks through, so his guy is still alive. We didn't take each other out, but Doombull goes down. He didn't really do much this game, but that's okay. He was 300 some points, and I'm still up quite a bit, and I got a lot of other threats on the table, so no big whoop. In the combat at the bottom, the Chariot doesn't do much. He doesn't do much back to me either. I think he just wins with the banners, and I end up losing by 1, and I break. Here you can see that combat's going on with the Festigor, and the big thing, that other Lance unit there with 3 guys left. I did do 1 wound to him, but he just got me with standards. That's him pursuing down my Chariot. He gets within an inch of my Festigor. I do a bunch of wounds here. He ends up sticking with that big lance. It's my turn 6 coming up. I got, the demonic mount thing, and I'm pretty much going to blast that Bretonnian Lord away with magic. And War General T decides to just concede it here. The writing's on the wall here. That demonic mount's going to get into the flank, and those Festigor are going to go to town on that lance unit. Even if he charges the lance unit to the rear, there's not much help there. The Bretonnian Lord's pretty much going to eat it with magic, so he calls it. It was a really fun list to do. That Herdstone dance party is pretty darn brutal. I'm getting 5 to possibly 6, even more if I keep my my other guy around. But I'm getting like 5 or 6 automatic power dice. I got 7 channels. Just really, I was talking with one of my buds, and I think without a doubt, the magic phase can be the most powerful of all the phases when it's good. But, Winds of Magic is so fickle that you can't really count on it. With a list like this and the magical synergy that it has, the magic phase has turned into something that you can really count on. And it really proved valuable in this game, especially. So, around the world in 12 games for Mittierim's deal here. We got Chaos Legion's Bretonnia. Bretonnia kind of, fell on the short end of the stick this one, but the game was a blast. The list was a blast. I'm super excited for the Kane book coming out because I got a high elf and a dark elf army. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.